fucking love this game. Released for the PC in 1998, Grim Fandango is the pinnacle of the adventure game genre and is probably the best game to ever come from LucasArts. Bold claim, I know, but hear me out. High concept. Film noir meets Aztec mythology meets Art Deco in the afterlife. And also, there's giant bees.
Bees?
Grim Fandango is set in the land of the dead. It turns out the Aztecs were right. Everybody in the afterlife looks like those cute little Mexican folk art skeletons. You play as Manny Calavera, the Grim Reaper. Actually, he's one of several Reapers, you see, because in this world, death is more of a travel agent. In the original Aztec mythology, the souls of the recently departed face a perilous 4-year journey through limbo before they reach what's called the Ninth Underworld. On foot, the journey's dangerous. There's a high chance of being eaten by demons or smashed to bits by supernatural forces. And so Manny's job is to upgrade these souls to a better travel package. If you'd lived a virtuous life, you might get a golden ticket on the number 9 express train, which zips you straight to heaven in just 4 minutes. Manny's big problem is that he just keeps getting deadbeat clients who have to make that 4-year journey on foot, whereas his work rival Domino is getting all of the gold ticket clients. Manny starts to suspect that something fishy is going on, and then bang, so starts a story of love, betrayal, and tiny skeleton birds with human faces. The characters that Manny finds himself up against are really despicable people. These were obviously gangsters in life, and so they remain gangsters in death. And so why bother moving on? They know that whatever awaits them in the next life is almost certainly going to be worse than where they are now. So some of them have figured out, well, you know what, I might as well just stay in limbo indefinitely. By exploiting the souls of the innocent, these guys can elevate themselves into positions of power, or money, or influence. And yeah, of course money still exists when you're dead. Better to rule in hell than to serve in heaven, right? You scratch below that surface, and that's some pretty dark subject material. And when you consider I originally thought Grim Fandango was just this goofy story about skeleton travel agents. Manny's an interesting character too, right? So he's working as a Grim Reaper. He's not on his own 4-year journey. He did something when he was alive that left him with a debt to the powers that be. I can't help but wonder what Manny did when he was alive that means he's not allowed to leave purgatory. He starts the game as your quintessential noir protagonist. He's cynical, he's bleak, he's emotionally aloof. But in that classic film noir fashion, over the course of the story, he grows into a warmer person. And in the finale, it's just that much better for it. I can't say anything else because Grim Fandango is honestly the most original and the most charming story of any computer game I've ever played. What really sells that story though is that atmosphere. Tim Shafer and the LucasArts team somehow managed to take Aztec mythology and film noir, combine them and not make it shit. You'd expect those themes to be like oil and water, but I don't know, somehow they pulled it off. Visually, Grim Fandango is still one of my favourite PC games. In 1998, LucasArts had some unbelievable talent working for them. People like Leslie Aclaro and Linda Grisanti working on production, and Peter Chan, who is almost single-handedly responsible for the creation of Kyle Katarn and the Dark Forces games. These guys all did a sterling job taking all those disparate locations and those exotic themes and pinning them all down with just a kind of consistency and detail that really only LucasArts could have done. Add into that mix a brilliant soundtrack of 1930s, 1940s music. You've got a blend of swing, big band and somehow mariachi. Again, all working together in unison. It just gives it this sense of identity. Grim Fandango's music was all composed by a guy called Peter McConnell, and that guy's CV is unreal. He's done everything from Monkey Island 2 to Sly Cooper, Brutal Legend, all the way up to Hearthstone. Chances are you've heard his music in something and you've loved it. Now I think Grim Fandango is probably still his strongest work. Wrangling all those different styles, giving this soundtrack its identity, it just echoes that we could do it attitude that just blared out of these LucasArts games. While we're on the subject of audio, voice acting is also flawless, and this is, in my opinion, one of the most important factors for an adventure game. Manny Calavera is voiced by Tony Plana, who you might know as Omar from 24, or he's also Rafael Hernandez in The Punisher. I'll always know him as Ugly Betty's dad. He's absolutely brilliant, and he just nails that cynical character for Manny. The rest of the voice cast also includes Maria Canals, who is Hawk Girl in everything, Pamela Adlon, who won an Emmy for Bobby in King of the Hill, the voice of Rita Repulsa, Barbara Goodson, and Ultra Magnus himself, Jack Angel. Absolute star of the show, though, is Alan Blumenfeld as Manny's sidekick Glottis. I just love this character so much, and he still has me literally laughing out loud after all these years.
Glottis, do something.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of talk about computer games so far, and I've not actually done any speaking about the gameplay. Okay, so like most LucasArts adventure games, gameplay in Grim Fandango is moved along by solving puzzles. By and large, the solutions follow that usual adventure game logic, so if you're getting stuck, then chances are there's something you've just missed, or maybe someone you've not spoken to. There is always the old classic, try everything on everything else school of thought, and this usually works, but you will probably be able to figure out the puzzles yourself. Brief warning though, some of the puzzles in Grim Fandango are absolutely ridiculous. There's one or two timed puzzles that are a bit garbage, but overall, Grim Fandango's puzzles are just incredible. They're some of the most rewarding puzzles you can have in a game. The game knows that it's hard, but when you do put two and two together, just that feeling is fantastic. As much as I love adventure games, by 1998 the scene was dying out. Shooters were still in their infancy at this time, but they were getting poised, ready to dominate the face of PC gaming for, the next 2 decades? Grim Fandango was LucasArts and Tim Shafer attempting to rejuvenate the adventure game genre, but ended up being a swan song instead. LucasArts invested a massive $3 million into the game's budget, but sales just did not get that kind of return. Despite absolutely smashing reviews and winning awards all across the board, some reports claim as little as 100,000 units actually sold. As far as I can tell, Grim Fandango might be the only LucasArts game ever that didn't turn a profit. And then from that, LucasArts forever moved away from the adventure game genre. We have started seeing an interest in the scene though lately, which is great. Grim Fandango itself received a remastered edition courtesy of Tim Shafer's new company Double Fine after they bought the rights from Disney after they closed LucasArts in 2012. The remastered version has got upscaled graphics, new character models, new lighting, and it includes a more traditional point and click mouse interface. The original game forced you to use tank controls. The digital remaster is every bit as good as the original, and in some ways it's improved. Grim Fandango Remastered can be bought from Steam or GOG. I've put the links in the description for you. When I started doing these Second Wind PC videos, it was always my intention to celebrate the past, to showcase great PC games that you might have missed out on. And with a lot of these classic old games now getting HD remasters and all that kind of stuff, it is a great opportunity for you to give them a second wind yourself. If you're a fan of adventure games and you're looking for something new, maybe something with a bit of panache, then you found it. I've played a lot of adventure games, but I've never played an adventure game as good as Grim Fandango. This game is in my top 3 games of all time. On a good day, I'd say it's my number 1. It's not perfect, of course, no game is perfect, but the atmosphere, the storytelling, the creativity, and the excellent world building make Grim Fandango an experience I just cannot get enough of. Thanks very much for watching. For more PC adventure game videos, subscribe to The Game Show. Ta-da.